So, as I mentioned, we're continuing on the Gospel of Mark until we get to Advent, and then I think we switch to Luke. But Mark, even though it's the shortest Gospel and the first Gospel and pretty concise, the editor can still kind of repeat himself. And he's got several places, and it's like chapters 8, 9, and 10, where he tells the disciples, you got to suffer and die. And they're like, yeah, we're not into that. And then, they turn around, they're arguing about who's the greatest. And so this is one more of those passages. And in some ways, it's really familiar, but in some ways, there's also ways in which our own understanding of the world, kind of like what we were talking about last week with economic growth, which is a relatively new idea. The first 300,000 years of human existence, people were just hunters and gatherers, right? You weren't sitting around hoping your kid's going to do better than you. And same thing with the idea of childhood. That is a relatively new idea, like since probably the mid-1800s. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But so when you hear passages in the scripture that talk about children, we have to kind of strip away our own ideas of childhood, which are relatively a new construct. And it gets in the way of understanding what Jesus is trying to do here. Then the disciples, came to Capernaum, and when Jesus was in the house, he asked them, "What were you arguing about on the way?" But they were silent, for on the way they had argued with one another who was the greatest. So Jesus sat down and called the 12 and said to them, "Whoever wants to be first must be last of all and servant of all." Then Jesus took a little child and put it among them, and taking it in his arms, he said to them, "Whoever welcomes one such child in my name welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me welcomes not me, but the one who sent me."